Next presentation, may I request your absolute silence?
Well, I thought my razor was dull until I heard his speech. And that reminds me of a story that's so dirty I'm ashamed to think of it myself.
For I have a message of great importance for everyone in the audience.
I implore you, send him back to his father and brothers, who are waiting for him with open arms in the penitentiary. I suggest that we give him 10 years in Leavenworth or 11 years in Twelveworth.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take 5 and 10 in Woolworth.
Now remember, please, absolute quiet.
Cut the cards.
Absolute quiet.
Os irmãos Marx, Groucho, Chico e Harpo foram os maiores comediantes de sua época. Irreverentes, contestadores, imprevisíveis, eles fizeram os Estados Unidos gargalharem durante a depressão econômica. Mas em 1941, os irmãos entraram numa semi-aposentadoria. Continuaram a trabalhar esporadicamente, mas já não eram muito mais do que ícones de uma outra época. Eles já eram passado. Com o fim da Segunda Guerra Mundial, houve uma nova explosão de otimismo. Os Estados Unidos estavam voltando ao trabalho e os irmãos Marx faziam o mesmo. A maioria se lembra dos filmes dos Marx, mas poucos sabem que eles tinham muitos trabalhos em televisão.
That's a high-class Carnegie Hall. You know Allegro Pizzicato?
No, I don't.
You know Jimmy Pizzicato? Maybe you know Itsy Bitsy Pizzicato. None of the Pizzicato.
Chico foi o primeiro a explorar a TV, mas foi Groucho que encontrou o estrelato nesse veículo ainda novo.
We sat in the audience, and Bob Hope was reading a script, and he was reading it with Groucho. I'd never seen Groucho before in person. And Bob dropped his script accidentally. So Groucho dropped his on purpose. And they talked for maybe 12 minutes. And very funny and not dirty.
Groucho, what are you doing out here in the desert?
Desert, I've been sitting in the dressing room for 40 minutes.
Groucho, excuse me a minute. I have to make an announcement on the air. Step into the studio with me, will you?
All right. You notice everybody in radio wears wooden shoes?
So after the show, I went up on the stage and I introduced myself to Groucho and said, how would you like to go do a quiz show? And he said, well, I've flopped 3 times on the radio so far, and he had in variety shows, and I'll compete with refrigerators. I'll do anything you want.
He says, I would like to do a radio show, but I'll be damned if I do a quiz show. That's for idiots.
Thank you, thank you. This is Groucho Marx. Well, here I am, stepping in over my head again. Folks, this is just as new to me as it is to you. I've never done one of these shows before, but we've got several couples up here on the stage, a lot of people in the seats out front, and the doors are locked, so I've got to go through with it. Besides, somebody might win $1,000 cash at any moment. All I know is it can't be me.
E o Bet Your Life estreou no rádio em outubro de 47 e lembrava uma dezena de outros Kiss Shows, mas na segunda temporada tornou-se o sucesso surpresa do ano e rendeu a Groucho a maior premiação do rádio, o prêmio Peabody de melhor artista.
He saw all his friends succeeding, Jack Benny and this and that, and he couldn't, and it really upset him. So when he finally did it himself, it made him extremely happy. This I know.
O programa passou da ABC para a CBS assim que a televisão entrou em campo. Mas Groucho resistiria à transição para a TV?
All right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is name. N-A-M-E.
Really?
You bet your life. And here's that sterling American, the one, the only...
What a ridiculous name.
Oh, that's me, Groucho Marx.
Estas são as primeiras imagens de Groucho Marx gravadas para a TV. Este teste foi feito em dezembro de 49 e nunca chegou a ir ao ar.
We knew we had to be on television eventually, and we wondered how we were going to do that. Would we just televise a radio show? So they decided they'd bring a camera in and on CBS, and we did the show. And during the show, these guys took some pictures of us on kinescope so we could look at it.
Suppose I kiss her and you didn't know anything about it.
Oh, I'd know about it.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to trap you. Howard, I'll bet you $1. I bet you $1 I can kiss your wife and you won't know a thing about it. Bet?
Okay, it's a bet.
Okay. Would you mind moving aside there? Well, you saw me kiss her, didn't you?
That's right.
I lose. Here's your $1, huh?
Oh, that isn't my wife.
Well, don't come and running to me with your troubles. Are you married?
Yes, I am.
You have any kids?
3 and I think 4 pretty soon.
When were you home last, huh? How'd you lose your job?
Well, I was teaching someone how to drive, and I got a ticket for giving the wrong signal.
We had quite a talk when we went on television as to whether he should have the little black mustache and the thing, you know, like in the movies. And he says, no, you're a different man now. You are not the continuation of that fella.
Groucho Marx. In You Bet Your Life. And now, here he is, the one, the only...
Is that boy still hanging around? Oh, that's me! Don't even say the secret word. The duck will come down and pay him $100. The word tonight is papa. That's the way you pronounce it in French. Oh. Papa.
Bob Dwan, who later became the director of the Groucho Show, and had been my boss in San Francisco, said, I didn't know you were in town, George. I'm doing an audition, and I'd like you to come down. This show may never make it. It's with Groucho.
You may fire and run.
All right. You have to ask me.
Okay, what do you want me to say? Go ahead, George. Go ahead, George. That's some ad-lib, eh?
But you see, he's so dignified and straight. It's just right for Groucho. And he went to college, and Groucho didn't, and it was a great luck. That's what it was.
We did a routine that I didn't realize I was doing. I was ad-libbing, but in terror.
I've been getting a lot of mail recently from people saying that I don't like you and that I ride you on the show and everything. And you know that isn't true, George. You know I love you.
I didn't know that much.
No. If you were a woman, I'd have snapped you up long ago.
He said to me more than once, Bob, I have nothing but confidence in you, and very little of that.
I think one of the reasons he was kind of mean is that he had tight shoes, and he had insomnia, and he had stomach problems all the time. He couldn't sleep at night, you know. He had a heck of a time, and it made him just kind of ornery.
Who was the barbarian conqueror known as Scourge of God? Scourge of God. S-C-O-U-R-G-E. Scourge. Scourge. Scrooge. Scrooge of God. What's the difference? They don't know it anyhow. They don't know it, and I can't pronounce it. It's a real classy quiz show we have.
We did extensive searching for contestants. We found them through newspaper stories, through letters that were written to us. It was a very popular show, and people wanted to be on it.
There was actually a little sprinkling of rudeness to what he said, but he was the silly man saying it.
What makes you think just because a man is 5 inches taller than 6 feet that this makes him a man? Well, you can go by size. A man's size has nothing to do with his ability in any way. I'm trying to keep this on a euphemistic plane. Well, name one specifically.
Well, automobiles couldn't run without felt.
Aeroplanes couldn't run. The girls in California have that new look by this...
You mean the girls couldn't run without felt? Well, a lot of them have felt and then run, huh?
The question is, did Groucho have a script or did he ad-lib? And the answer is yes.
I don't know why, but people try to prove that our show was scripted. Well, if you ever worked with amateurs, you know that you don't give them a script the night of a show, and they're going to remember. What you want them to remember is when he asks you how you met your husband, tell him that story that you told me. Well, then, naturally, Groucho will know what that story is going to be, and he's got some ideas of what he's... It's not a script.
Os críticos adoraram. A revista Rádio TV dele disse: não há comediantes que cheguem aos pés da sagacidade do irmão Groucho. E é aí que está a graça desse novo empreendimento televisivo. Só agora, depois de descobertas fotografias tiradas nos bastidores, é que fica claro que Groucho recebeu uma pequena ajuda.
We're on film, and sometimes Groucho would get off on a tangent that we knew we wouldn't ever use on the show. And we're eating up this film, this 35mm film. So they figured they had to have some way to get a message to him out on the stage.
And so what we got, I remembered, was I'd seen him in bowling alleys, you know, which is essentially an overhead projector, which you find in every classroom nowadays. So there was nothing very mysterious about it.
It had this white glass with the light behind it, so you could see, and the silhouette, you'd see the words, and he could write backwards, and it says jump to page 7, or
ask her where she met her husband, you know, and he would write down this, and Groucho, if he looked, he would see, and then he'd ask where she met her husband, and that moved the show along.
Well, in what way is your husband romantic, assuming that he is, which I question?
Oh, man, have you ever been made love to by a Frenchman?
Not that I can recall. Oh, take them out and pass them around. He went to college for that, huh? Let's keep it this way now, nice and quiet and subdued, huh?
All right.
UCLA, 53.
Cada episódio de O Bet Your Life levava 45 minutos para ser gravado, dos quais os 24 melhores eram selecionados para irem ao ar. A maior parte do material descartado era deixada na sala de edição, mas às vezes um momento especial era preservado pelo editor.
You're 30 years old, John?
I'm thirsty.
No, what? You're what?
I'm thirsty.
You're thirsty? Well, I...
Thank you very much.
Would you like this?
And if they didn't work, he knew they would be cut out. He'd turn around to me and say,
Clip, clip, here we go again.
And it was gone.
Well, now, suppose you became a actress and then you met somebody you liked and got married. Would you be willing to quit acting and be a housewife and a mother?
Well, I think if you keep your feet on the ground, you can combine both. That's what I would like to do.
Well, if you keep your feet on the ground, you'll never be a mother. That's what they call a waste of film.
Oh, you're terrible.
Yes, that's true. Not only terrible, but revolting. Welcome, welcome to the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers. Say, your face looks familiar. Haven't we met before?
I don't think so, Groucho.
And what is your name, miss?
No, this is the lady.
Oh, I... Either I'll have to get my glasses fixed or you'll have to do your hair differently. What is your name, sir?
Forsyth. Ronald Forsyth.
Ronald, huh? It was Rodney during rehearsal. Well, okay, now I think we better get started and play You Bet Your Life.
Where's the duck?
The duck?
Groucho era um velho de coração mole. A fita com estas cenas de sua participação no programa de Jack Benny era um de seus mais adorados pertences e não era vista desde sua exibição original em 1955.
Say the secret word, which is something found around the house. The duck will come down and pay you $100.
Something around the house?
Yes. Now, where do you live, Rod?
Well, right now, I'm living in Glendale.
Glendale.
I have a little home there with 6 rooms and windows and window shades and Venetian blinds and tables and chairs and spoons and saucers and dishes and rugs and knives and forks.
Hold it. Why are you telling me all this?
Well, you said that the secret word is something around the house.
I can't get over how familiar you look. Is the violin you play a Stradivarius?
Oh, no. You see, you have to be rich to be able to have a Stradivarius. See, I'm poor. All I have around my house are towels and rugs and ashtrays.
Look, enough of that already. Now, Rodney, you say you don't have a Stradivarius?
No, sir.
You know, I heard that a lot of imitation Strads are and sold.
I know, but they could never fool me because, you see, I could tell a phony.
I guessed the word.
Hold it. There's been a mistake. The duck thought you said the secret word, but you didn't.
What?
Secret word is telephone, and you said telephony.
Yeah, but I got an impediment in my speech. I always say that. I say telephony. I say yes, phonies. When I shave, I use cologne. I say it all the time.
You use cologne when you shave?
Yeah.
Well, in the sentence you used, you said you wouldn't be fooled because you could telephone.
Well, you didn't let me finish the sentence. I said I was going to telephone a friend of mine who's a violin expert. That's what I was going to say.
What's his name, this friend? You've got a friend. Well, okay, they say the customer's all right, but I don't know how that you. You sound like the type who's never been a customer.
I don't care. Just let me at this duck. There must be more where that came from.
Well, there was, but he just flew in from Las Vegas.
See you night in Casablanca.
So anybody that can give away as much money as you do and still tell jokes deserves something.
Jack, that's an unfortunate subject, but since you did bring it up, when do I get paid? How about money?
Oh, well, Groucho, I wouldn't worry about that because you will get a check tomorrow morning.
Now, how about paying me in cash?
Why, what's wrong with my check?
Well, I can telephone you, too. Good night.
O incrível You Bet Your Life chegou ao fim em 61. O segredo dele era a espontaneidade. Nunca se sabia o que Groucho diria em seguida. Esse diferencial fez o programa ser vendido para outras estações e influenciar as novas gerações de comediantes. O programa ressuscitou a carreira de Groucho e fez dele um astro maior do que nunca, reavivando o interesse do público pelos Irmãos Marx. Em 1946, pouco antes de Groucho voltar ao estrelato, ele aproveitava uma aposentadoria parcial. Nestes filmes em 3D caseiros até hoje inéditos, Groucho relaxa com a família. Harpo, que já não era mais o itinerante membro da tábula redonda dos índios Algonquim, estava se dedicando a prazeres mais tranquilos. Chico, com a sua compulsão de jogar, ainda estava endividado e conseguiu convencer os irmãos a fazer mais um filme.
Now, I'm not saying that they didn't get angry at Daddy. They did, because of the gambling. But even with the anger and the rage and the yelling and, you know, about, I'm not going to give you another dime, they always ended up bailing him out.
They're back, the Marx Brothers. Groucho, Harpo, Chico. That's to me. Go on, boss. Tell them about it a bit. I can't, Chico. There's too much noise. I fix. Yeah. See you night in Casablanca.
Uma Noite em Casablanca não pode ser incluído entre os melhores filmes dos irmãos Marx, a não ser se fosse comparado a seu último filme, Loucos de Amor. Na verdade, Loucos de Amor foi concebido por Harpo como um projeto solo, mas Chico convenceu a participar do filme, e quando o financiamento acabou, os investidores decidiram que só dariam mais dinheiro se Groucho fizesse uma aparição. Loucos de Amor é realmente notável por uma coisa: Groucho, o Rei Lear em pessoa, contracenando com a jovem Marilyn Monroe. Agora, apesar das dívidas de Chico, a carreira cinematográfica dos irmãos Marx havia realmente terminado. Enquanto Groucho estava revolucionando os programas de auditório, Chico levou sua arte para além mar.
Chico, what do you think of England? Oh, I like England very much. I hope England's going to like me. Tell me something. Do you talk like that all the time? No, I talk like this in the pictures. You see, I used to be, in the war, I used to be always Italian, but I saw what they did to Mussolini, so now I'm Greek. Excuse me.
Harpo, enquanto isso, cultivava seus variados interesses, incluindo posar para John Decker, o retratista favorito de Hollywood. Nessas raras imagens, ele é visto brincando em frente ao quadro de Decker, como o Menino Azul.
Susan and Harpo ultimately got married, and they decided it was absolutely necessary that they have a family. And the house that they lived in had 4 windows, 2 on the second story, 2 on the first story. And it was Dad's dream that when he came home at night, he would see a smiling face in each one of those windows.
My father would sometimes be listening to the radio, and they had a show in Palm Springs where people would come on about lost animals, lost pets, that they had found animals, and my father would generally answer the radio ad and bring that animal home. And the house was always filled with animals. He loved animals.
Ainda que adorasse passar o tempo com sua família, ele não estava pronto para se aposentar.
I knew sooner or later somebody out of the audience would start shooting back at us. You know that.
I believe that my dad was apprehensive every time he walked out on the stage.
Oh, you want me to do a different type show, is that it? Huh? Well, maybe I better humor this kid. Let's walk on back into my office. Will you come back here, huh? Come on back. Here we are. Well, you like that, huh?
He was very nervous that night, because in those days, it was live television and you only had one shot at it. This was no editing. And he recognized that, and this was not rehearsed heavily to the point where it would be smooth. And he knew that.
A windshield wiper. Yeah, more? Oh, more. This is great. A windshield wiper on a rainy day.
Nobody ever knew how to write for Harpo. He went to page 2, and it said Harpo skips down a nice little road, and he is confronted by a huge stuffed bear. Harpo does something funny. That's how they wrote for him.
Come on, I asked you to play the hop. Will you play the hop? You won't play the hop? You don't want to? Why? Want to play another instrument? This is yours? Yours? Yeah. You invented this? Oh, good. It's very fine. It's got 2 mouthpieces, huh? You play in both sides at the same time? How do you do that? Now, listen, would you please do me a favor, and I'd like you to play the hop. Would you play the hop? You don't want to play the hop? You have another instrument to play? Oh, sure. I'll wait. What are you going to get? Oh, you're going to get the clarinet. I didn't know he played. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to watch Hopple play the clarinet. He's really one of the greatest... You going to play the clarinet? Not seriously. What are you going to play? What are you going to play? I'm forever blowing bubbles. That's why. You're going to play it seriously? Well, if you're going to play it seriously, I'll direct the band seriously, because I'm a great musical conductor.
In 1925, he was in a movie called Too Many Kisses. Then later on, he went to play summer stock. He did The Man Who Came to Dinner, and later on, he played The Yellow Jacket with Alexander Woollcott. And in the early 1960s, he appeared on television in another dramatic role.
A não ser por essas aparições especiais, Harpo passava seu tempo em Palm Springs jogando golfe e sendo bom pai e marido.
So, to make it simplified, we moved in here.
Minnie, what do you like most about living in Palm Springs?
Well, I love horseback riding, and in Beverly Hills you couldn't do much horseback riding, so I do have a horse of my own.
Harpo, I would gather that we're in your trophy room. Did you win them all?
Harpo was my favorite uncle because he was an absolutely wonderful man. He was a sweet, caring, gentle soul, just the way he appeared in the movies. He was just a wonderfully kind man, and he was a comfortable person to be around, he and his whole family.
Hey, you look like a fellow who used to be my brother.
I don't think I got your name.
No, I got my name.
I think you're pulling my leg.
Yeah, just to get him even.
Well, would you mind helping me push this camera store around?
I'm sorry. I got a course and laid down in the sand trap.
Sand trap?
Yeah, you see, it's a Sunday, and that's when I see my psychiatrist.
I'm sure I used to know him. If I'm not mistaken, we both had the same mother.
He was berating Groucho for something, and I said to him, well, you know, Pop, I said, you have to realize that Groucho's always been jealous of you because of Grandma. And Daddy said, what do you mean? I said, well, weren't you Grandma's favorite? He said, well, yeah. I said, well, don't you think Groucho was jealous? He said, you know, I never thought of that.
He was very jealous of Chico, and this lasted all the way up through his manhood. And another thing, Chico always got the girls. And this was a source of aggravation to Groucho, too.
Joe, you know that gypsy love song?
Well, I know the chorus.
Well, I played the voice. Maybe you could follow me, huh?
Suppose you play the verse while I noodle around.
You're going to noodle?
Uh-huh.
What do you mean by noodle? All right, fine. You noodle there, and I'll macaroni over here. That's a good. Now we tried the chorus, but the chorus we played pianissimo. You know what pianissimo is, Joe?
Oh, no.
How long do you study music?
Oh, about 15 years.
You know, 2 more years you could have been a plumber? Hey, none to move. Why you scare my wife, huh? Me? Yes, me. No, I mean you.
Ao contrário de seus irmãos, Chico nunca se deu bem com a televisão. Papa Romani, episódio de uma série de 1950, foi um de seus primeiros equívocos.
He was not a good dialectician. I mean, even his Italian sort of slipped a lot. We used to say, Chico, your accent is slipping.
Então surgiu College Ball, uma série musical de variedades em que ele fazia o empregado da sorveteria de uma universidade.
Of course there were bad things because he was a compulsive gambler. I mean, that's what almost all the fights in the house were. My mother lived in, she wouldn't buy a house for many years because she said she didn't want to wake up in the morning and find out that some gangster owned it.
Chico was an inveterate gambler, and it caused the Marx Brothers great grief because they constantly had to bail him out financially.
This is my family album. And this is my brother Harpo. He's always chasing the girls, but no more. Now he's a telling the girls about creamy prom. Because prom home permanent is awaiting cream. Leaves your hair sauce. You get a creamy prom. Right, Harpo?
He was a combination of a will-o'-the-wisp and Peter Pan, and to a little girl, he was magic.
Fabulous character from Hollywood making his first appearance on British television.
Chico, can I ask the obvious question? You're going to play the piano for us, aren't you?
Yes, but I'm a little busy right now. Backstage.
What do you mean, backstage? No. What, here?
Yeah.
Can you get one for me?
You got it.
Oh, thank you.
We would be driving up any street, and he'd say, "See the green light, baby?" And I'd say, "Yes." He said, "Daddy bets you that it'll turn red before you can count 10. They had to have a bet going on everything.
Hey, you don't look like an angel. Disguise yourself. No. Put on your halo. 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 Not the hello. Your halo. To watch.
Estas imagens são de Deputy Seraph, um piloto para a TV sobre anjos encheridos corrigindo erros terrestres. Estas cenas, retiradas de uma fita descoberta há poucos anos, são tudo o que resta do lendário programa de TV dos Irmãos Marx.
Did you ever see a voice-licking pair of angels? Say the secret word, you can have either one of them.
24 Chicago, take 1. Baker, take 3.
Hey, pipe it down. Here comes the chief.
1.
Action. It's easy. Now, don't be scared. All you got to do is a sneak in aside of this a sneaky fellow. Now, go ahead. Now, do your stuff.
Fine pair of bunglers, a jealous woman. She'll get even with him. She'll marry him. I'll have to take charge here. Phone, please. I wonder how they do that. You do?
3.
Take 4.
Take 4.
Give me the full treatment on the dialect now and really punch it. Go.
He's a piano player. I'm a piano player. I fix him.
Start again and say, look.
Oh. Look. He's a piano player. I'm a piano player. I fix him.
Freeze! Go into action. Where's he going? Where is he? That's good. Step out. Walk.
Phone, please. I must find out how they do that. Roger.
Chico.
I'll take the easy way. Phone, please. Extraordinary.
Era a primeira vez em quase uma década que os três irmãos trabalhavam juntos novamente, mas não foi uma experiência agradável. Durante toda a gravação, a incapacidade de Chico de lembrar suas falas deixava todos frustrados. Então, durante uma pausa, descobriu-se que ele era vítima de um endurecimento das artérias. Nenhuma seguradora aceitava trabalhar com a dura rotina de uma série semanal. Deputy Seraph nunca chegou a ser concluído.
Hey.
Apesar da doença, Chico continuou trabalhando, estrelou cada carinho e com Harpo, divertiu as plateias de Las Vegas com um show numa boate.
I had just split from my husband and was having a hard time financially, and I was talking to Daddy about it, and he said, gee, he said, I wish I were Groucho so I could help you. And I said, and I'm so glad I said it, I said, I wouldn't trade you in for any of my uncles. I said, you're the best in the world. I've been always so happy that I said that to him. Anyway, he was getting sicker and sicker, and we knew it was only a matter of time. And he had a near brush. I mean, my mother had me fly out because we thought he was dying, but he recovered from that attack. Well, they'd lived through so many near deaths with Daddy that I think when he finally died, they just were sort of relieved because he was very, very ill. So when that happens, it's kind of a relief. Jimmy Durante at the funeral looked awful. And I heard him say, it's the end of it. There'll be no more Marx Brothers.
In this fascinating new autobiography, that is, in person, that's another question. Let's find out. Harpo, your book is chock full of great and very funny stories. Now, which one is your favorite? All right, when Groucho and Gummo saw what was going on, they started whooping too. We heaved everything we could get our hands on into the office pit.
He loved music, and he played the harp every single day of his life. And probably the most important moment of his stage life would always come when he would sit down to play solo harp. And that's when you saw Harpo transform himself into the serious Arthur Marx. And all of a sudden he would be at one with the harp. In the late 30s, Salvador, the great surrealist painter, dubbed the Marx Brothers as being the great surrealist act. He gave my dad a harp that had strings of barbed wire, and it was wrapped in cellophane, and there was spoons and knives and forks glued to the entire frame. During one of my dad's many semi-retirements, Gummo came to him with a deal. It was to do 4 one-minute commercials for Labatt's beer.
Harpo, what would you like most in all the world, right now? No, not that, not that. Imagine it's hot. The sun's beating down on you. Imagine you're in the middle of a burning desert, 100 miles from the nearest oasis. You haven't had a drink of water in 3 days. Now, what do you want most in all the world? Didn't anyone tell you this is a beer commercial? That's right, you've got it. Labatt's Pilsner Lager Beer.
I'm not sure my father really wanted to retire. Show business had been his life, and I think that's what he wanted to continue doing until he couldn't do it any longer.
Todo o clã dos Marx se reuniu para a última apresentação de Harpo. Ele dividiu o show com Alan Sherman, famoso cantor e comediante da época.
Just about the end of the first half of the show, Alan stepped to the microphone and said, "This is a very special evening because you folks are going to witness the retirement of Harpo Marx."
And all of us went, you know, when we heard that shocking news. And then Alan said something like, I don't even know if he'll come out, but I'm going to ask this great gentleman and great comedian if he will come out and let us applaud him once more, something to that effect. Well, Harpo came out, and he got a standing ovation again, first of all, because we did love him, and secondly, we thought we'll never see him again.
Here is Harpo really at work.
Rumors around that this is Britain's revenge for the Boston Tea Party. 3,000 screaming teenagers are at New York's Kennedy Airport to greet, you guessed it, the Beatles. This rock and roll group has taken...
1964. A Beatlemania dá início a uma revolução cultural.
Harmony unmistakably diatonic.
Quando John, Paul, George e Ringo surgiram, alguns críticos compararam o humor deles com o dos irmãos Marx. Não foi surpresa, portanto, quando os jovens abraçaram a comédia subversiva dos irmãos Marx e os elegeram heróis anti-establishment. Os filmes foram redescobertos e viraram atrações nas universidades. Tornaram-se de novo famosos no mundo todo. Mais de meio século depois da estreia, os irmãos Marx renasceram como superastros internacionais. A irreverência de Groucho condizia com a época e ele passou a ser constantemente requisitado. Sua notável retomada culminou no clássico Uneven with Groucho, no famoso Carnegie Hall de Nova York. O show foi gravado em disco e tornou-se um best-seller.
Right now, he's one of the hottest new concert attractions in the world. And he did it all with 2 eyebrows. Freak. Boink. Mustache, smarget, horn rim glasses, Northland smick, cigar almost as he was, and the world's most imitated walk. Oh, there I am. Now say the secret word and a duck will come down and give you $50.
We all were big fans of Groucho. And we said, would it be possible to get him to do a show? Because at that point, Groucho wasn't working. So we said, hey, let's ask him. So I called him at the house, and we had a long talk. He hit me up for a lot of money, and we negotiated. And then I said, okay, Groucho, I'll call you Tuesday. And he said, you can call me whatever you wish, but that is my name. So I said, okay.
And now, here is my special guest star, Rufus T. Firefly, J. Cleaver Loophole, Dr. Hugo Z. Heckenbush, Captain Jeffrey Spaulding, also known as Mr. Groucho Marx, ladies and gentlemen.
Em 1973, com quase 83 anos, fez sua última aparição em um grande show de variedades. Provando continuar afiado como sempre, Groucho trocou piadas com um dos maiores astros da comédia.
Yes, how are you, Doctor?
Fine.
Nice to see you. You look, have a sit down.
Oh, I'll be glad to. How have you been?
I've just been fine.
Well, what are we going to do now?
I don't know, but I'm just tickled to have you here, and words cannot express how thrilled I am to have you on the show.
A little money wouldn't hurt either.
All right, now.
You smoke cigars, I see, huh?
Yeah, I like them.
Good ones?
Yeah, well, it just mostly comes from the first time I saw you, and I figured, gee whiz, you know, I would like to smoke cigars.
Well, you know, it's a handy thing to have for a comedian, assuming you are a comedian.
There's one question you. You've known all of the truly great names in comedy. Now, I mean, how would you classify me?
You?
Yeah.
You'd come right after Nixon. And so would I if I had a chance.
Every one of those jokes in that session worked because he would listen to the question, and then that mind would click in.
Okay, how would you rate W.C. Fields?
I never speak ill of the dead, except in your case.
When I met Groucho, I found exactly what I expected. A cantankerous, ornery, salty, amusing, amazing man. He took nothing seriously.
Do you believe in life after death?
I have serious doubts about the life before death. The way we're going now. I believe in death during life, and so does everyone watching this show.
Do you have any unfulfilled wish?
Well, yes, I'd like to terminate this interview as soon as...
Well, you can't be funnier than that. Of course, it put Cosby down and put Cosby away because everybody had great respect for Cosby at that point, except for Groucho, who had none. And he didn't respect Bill. It bothered Groucho that Bill smoked better cigars than Groucho did. So Groucho, on the way out, copped about a half a dozen of Bill's cigars. You just love him.
Em 1974, Groucho recebeu um Oscar honorário por sua contribuição ao cinema. Ele começou seu momento final sob os holofotes com uma reverência a todos os irmãos Marx.
Hello, I must be going. I cannot stay, I came to say I must be going. I'm glad I came, but just the same, I must be going. I'll stay a week or two, I'll stay the summer through, but I am telling you, I must be away.
Hooray for Captain Spaulding, the African explorer.
If someone call me Schnorrer.
Hooray, hooray, hooray.
Muito já foi dito e escrito sobre o estilo e a essência da comédia dos irmãos Marx. Historiadores do cinema já teceram inúmeras teses sobre os motivos de seu sucesso. Mas a mais convincente é simples. Eles fizeram rir 4 gerações de espectadores porque eram engraçados. Simplesmente por isso. Como todos os grandes artistas, Groucho, Chico e Harpo eram verdadeiramente originais. Os irmãos Marx entraram em nosso inconsciente coletivo e nunca mais saíram.
And now, once again, I'd like to bring out my guest, just for a bow, Groucho Marx.
Show you that I can still do that.
You won't be able to walk tomorrow, though, I don't. Now, listen, Groucho.
Could have got him from me, I'll show you.
Good thing you got friends at City Hall. Go like that, see? And I go like that. Come on.
Look right into there. Go ahead. Take it easy now.
Ist das nicht ein Schnitzelbank? Ist das nicht ein Kutzenland? Kutzenlang, Schnitzelbank, ei du schönes Rot, schönes Marx.